Here we are again. An 18-year-old kid walks into a gun store. He buys an automatic rifle. He goes out and he kills children. How many times do we have to do this? How many times do we have to say that people should not have semi-automatic rifles to begin with? Those guns were made for the military so they could fight wars and shoot the enemy. They were not made for shooting children or taking to schools or taking into grocery stores or churches. How many times do we have to say this is not right? How many times do we have to go back to Congress and try to get them to take some sort of action to put a stop to these kinds of guns? Things like these clips that hold 30 rounds of ammunition, 30 bullets, that can fire rapid fire, and then they can switch clips and put in another 30 bullets, and who knows, kill who knows how many people. Something's got to be done about it. A stop has got to be put to it. It's insane. You know, it's going to, until we do something, until we get Congress to do something, it's just going to go on and on and on. More and more people will be killed, more and more poor children and other people, grocery stores, churches, schools. No place apparently is safe, shopping centers. And anytime a person gets angry, he can go to a gun store and buy a gun. And sometimes in some states he doesn't even have to have a background check. And he can take that gun out as soon as he leaves the store and go out and shoot people. We at least should have some sort of waiting list or waiting time from the time you go in to buy a gun, from the time you can actually receive it. And they should be licensed. We license automobiles and drivers. We don't let somebody get behind the wheel of a car and drive it any old way he wants to without training or experience or practice. And yet anybody who's 18 years or older can go in and buy an automatic weapon and walks out of the store with it and can start shooting people immediately if he chooses. Something's got to be done about it. We've got to put a stop to it. We came fairly close to putting a stop to some of the semi-automatic rifles when Clinton was in office, and we got to put to that temporarily. But then that elapsed and we couldn't get Congress to renew it. So we're right back where we started with the AR-15 type rifles. And for things like the clips that hold 30 bullets, those are allowed and legal. The bump stops are legal, which pretty much make a rifle almost fully automatic, almost like a machine gun, really. There's not a whole lot of difference because you can just spit out the bullets as fast as the gun can fire them. And there's no sense and no reason for anybody, except possibly soldiers, to have those kind of guns. Certainly civilians should not have them. And even if they have them, they should be licensed, and they should have to undergo some sort of training on the safety and use of those, and some sort of waiting period, and certainly background checks. And we should have a national registry for all guns. All guns should be registered with the federal government so they can be easily traced and kept out of the hands of people who are mentally disturbed or outright criminals, people with criminal records, and things like that. And I don't see anything wrong with it. A lot of people think it's infringement of the Second Amendment, which is ridiculous. But if you plan to use a gun safely and you want to own a gun or several guns, then I don't see why you would object to having your gun registered in a national database. I don't see why you'd object to having a background check to make sure you're mentally stable and that you're a person of good character who can be believed to operate a gun safely. I think that's about it.